Hey guys, it's Anime Alternate here, and this is What If Naruto Had Inquiries Part 6. And so, I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So without further ado, roll the intro. Naruto woke up in a strange room. His body ached all over. His chakra pathways were throbbing. Evidence would suggest I've overexerted myself in my fight against the Hunterman, Naruto thought. I can't move, but I appear to be getting feeling back in my arms. Gaki! Uncle said cheerily, startling Naruto, who hadn't seen or heard her entering. You're awake, that's good. You've been asleep for about 36 hours, and it's currently 8 a.m., so how are you feeling? A brief synopsis of my injuries is that I cannot control anything below my neck, though I am beginning to gain feeling in my arms. Progress is slow, though. Lastly, I appear to have a slight temperature, though I hypothesize that it will go down by the end of the day, Naruto said in his usual monotone. That's not so good. But then again, what did I expect? That was quite the beating you took from the Hunterman. Yes, I made quite a few tactical errors in my fight. I will have to train harder to ensure that does not happen again, Naruto replied, while glancing away before looking back at Anko. Well, it's always good to lose once in a while to remind someone that they aren't unbeatable. It keeps people from getting overconfident, Anko said, while Naruto nodded. Anyways, we're going to be learning the tree walking exercise. Well, by we, I mean Team 7 is going to be learning it, while all the members of Team 11 are going to be practicing or training on their own. Join us when you can walk, or rather move well again. You play a very important role on Team 11. You help coordinate your teammates and keep them together, which is very important. Anko finished and walked to the door before stopping. Oh, and Naruto, Anko said, while smirking. You'd probably think Yakumo. She wouldn't leave your side until your fever started to break. She even used her reality genjutsus to vanish some of your injuries, which left her exhausted. I'll make sure to thank her, Naruto said blandly. Anko just huffed at his lack of reaction and left. As soon as she had left Naruto's side, his body hurt more than he showed, but he couldn't afford to be held back too much by his injuries. He definitely wouldn't train too hard. He didn't want to make his condition worse, but he would train as much as he possibly could. Time skip, 1 hour. Naruto could finally move his body to a reasonable degree. Not as well as he would have liked, but it would do for now. There was a slight limp in his step, but it was barely noticeable. When he arrived at the clearing, he first went over to Yakumo, who was practicing painting as quickly as she could. Naruto tapped her on the shoulder silently, causing her to whip around. I came to say thank you for helping heal me, Naruto said. Yakumo blushed, ever so slightly, and nodded, which caused Naruto to respond with a nod and walk off. He was heading to the separate side of the clearing, but before he could get there, Sasuke cut him off. Fight me, he demanded. Naruto just stared at him for a few seconds, before sighing and saying in response, I'm still very sore from my fight earlier, so I'll only be able to fight around 30% capacity. That should be more than enough to handle you. Allow me 5 minutes to stretch. Time skip. 5 minutes later. Naruto was standing about 15 feet away from Sasuke. He raised one arm and gave a come get me gesture to Sasuke. Sasuke seemed enraged by that, probably because he was normally the one to do that, and just rushed forward and gave a furious assault of punches and kicks at Naruto, who just danced around them like smoke. After a few minutes, Naruto decided to end the fight. He charged a little chakra into his fingers and gave Sasuke a 2-fingered tap to the forehead. Sasuke fell down heavily on his backside. For some reason, Sasuke had a confused look on his face, a look that quickly turned into an enraged look. His irises then faded from black to red, with one black tomo in each eye. I'll kill you, Itachi, Sasuke growled out, and started attacking Naruto with renewed gusto. Sasuke's perspective. Naruto just tapped Sasuke, and Sasuke fell down. That's exactly what Itachi used to do, Sasuke thought. When he looked back up, In Naruto's place was Itachi, standing there with all his smugness. Sasuke became enraged. His vision became clear somehow. I'll kill you, Itachi, he growled out and started attacking. Normal perspective. Naruto was having a harder time fighting Sasuke. They're now evenly matched, with Sasuke having the Sharingan, trading blow for blow, even though Naruto was around 30% capacity, so which had to count for something, which means if he was at his full capacity, he would have beaten Sasuke easily. But because he was already slightly sore and Sasuke had just unlocked the Sharingan, they were slightly matched. But Naruto had a better analytical mind and more experience. He managed to cast one of Sasuke's hands, and as quick as he could, he launched a kick to Sasuke's stomach, then a quick chop to the back of the neck, knocking him out. I'm going to go and train, Naruto said, his breath still slightly heavier than normal. Naruto walked over to the other side of the clearing and unsealed 4 chakra weights. I'm going to beat the hunter in next time. I'm going to need to be a lot faster, Naruto thought. Time skip, 2 weeks. Unfinished Bridge of the Wave. Things weren't looking good for Naruto. He was currently trapped inside a dome of ice mirrors, being pelted from all sides by Senbon. The fight had started well in reality, but quickly went south. Himself and the Hunter Nin were almost evenly matched at the beginning of the fight in terms of speed and skill. The fight continued that way for almost 20 minutes, but then the Hunter Nin had pulled this insanely overpowered jutsu from somewhere. Naruto did not know where. And now Naruto was back to square one, being completely overwhelmed by this opponent. It was maddening to know how even though he tried, he was still not strong enough to beat the Hunter Nin. No, don't think like that, Naruto thought. All my strong suits he's better in, but I haven't tried the things I'm not as good at. Okay, so what can he use against this guy? I need to slow him down for starters. Trap making won't really work. Kunai, he's too fast for that. Shuriken, same as Kunai. Well, Genjutsu might work. Might as well give it a shot. Naruto quickly wove a few hand signs and cast an area effect Genjutsu, which, if worked properly, would create a sort of fractured sight for almost everyone looking at the area. But it was broken quite quickly. That won't work on me, the Hunter Nin said almost mockingly. Naruto just clenched his jaw in frustration. Nothing was working. He even had to use what he learned from the tree walking exercise to stick to the ground. It was slippery enough it was very slippery without attaching himself to it with chakra. Wait. Sticking? Naruto thought. Well, I'll try a lot of things once. Naruto then started channeling chakra into the ground, creating a 16-foot diameter circle of chakra in the ground. A few seconds later, the Hunter Nin landed on the ground inside of Naruto's chakra trap. Not expecting to be stuck to the ground, Hunter Nin fell forward as they tried to take another step. Not wasting a second, Naruto blitzed forward and started pelting the Hunter Nin with punches. He didn't let up for a second, knowing that this could be the difference between life and death. I have to, Naruto thought, as he whipped out a kunai and shot forward. Ninja must not show emotion, was the thought that echoed through Naruto's mind, again and again, as his kunai raced toward the Hunter Nin's heart. But in Naruto's head, the kunai was traveling super slowly. You could see it inching forward, inch by inch. Just before the kunai hit its target, Naruto's hand stopped, and he looked at the Hunter Nin in the eyes. Kill me, they said, for I have outlived my purpose, and if you don't, I will go after your friends. Naruto glanced sideways at the now dead body of Zabuza, and then a quick glance back at Shino and Yakumo. I'm sorry, Naruto said, as he brought his hand backwards before swinging it forward again. A few seconds later, Naruto's arm fell to his side, the bloody kunai clattering to the ground. Naruto's clothes were stained with blood, and as Naruto stared down at the Hunter Nin's body, a single tear slid down his face. He didn't even notice when Anko came up right beside him and placed a hand on his shoulder. Anyway guys, thanks for listening. I will see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed. But yeah, bye.